Hello and good day. This is Punchline on First News Nation, and this special edition is called Road to Lion Building 2023. It's the first of several interviews with personalities, candidates who are willing to vie for political posts come the 2023 general elections here in Enugu State, Nigeria. Today, I'm with the most, let's call him the most visible face and the most visible voice out there in the politics of Enugu right now. And we're here in his home. We're going to talk about his candidature, his personal life a little bit, but the political side of it. We're here with Mr. Frank Nweke Jr. We'll be right back after this short break. Good day, sir.
How you doing?
Nice to meet you.
Same here. Thank you so much.
Nice, serene house.
Thank you. You're very kind. Thank you.
Yes. Okay. Former Chief of Staff, former Minister of Intergovernmental Affairs, former Minister of Information and National Orientation, former Information and Communications Minister, former DG, Nigerian Economic Summit Group, all between 2003 to 2014. Now, APGA governorship candidate, Enugu State. So from 2014, where have you been?
Well, thank you. I've been around. First of all, you skipped so many things. Clearly,
I didn't want to go into that. You have a very intimidating profile.
Clearly, you've not.
I know what that is another episode.
You followed me, but clearly, you're not up to date. And so, subsequently, I've been teaching, doing a lot of teaching.
Yeah, the Lagos Business School.
Senior visiting fellow at the Lagos Business School, but I'm on a leave of absence now. I've also been a guest lecturer at the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies from time to time. And of course, paying attention to my personal investments and in addition to nurturing some social causes that are of great interest to me.
Yes, I followed you. Those days from the Obasanjo era to the Yaradua era to Jonathan era, we used to have a compendium of young ministers, and that was when we had the name Frank Nweke Jr. at that time, Minister of Information and that. And yes, I did read your profile. I just had to pick up the ones a lot of us remember. So 2015, you contested for Senate.
Yes.
Under the People's Democratic Party.
Yes.
Yes. So the first question a lot of us want to know is why you left the PDP. You tried going for Senate, and this is 2023. All of a sudden, we heard Frank Nweke is contesting under APGA.
Yes.
So why did you leave?
Okay, thank you so much. Yes, I used to be a member of the People's Democratic Party. I served as minister, and in addition to a couple of other positions. I'm no longer a member. I resigned formally from my ward level, and then I subsequently issued a statement to convey this message to the populace. And the reason for this is, there are a number of reasons for this, let me put it that way. First of all, any organization that is expected to thrive must be founded on laws, must be founded on guidelines, must be founded on a constitution. And that constitution is the set of rules and regulations which should actually govern such a party or such an organization. And so in the case of the PDP, in most recent times, this party has not shown fidelity to its own laws, to its own constitution. But there's a dimension which people skirt around, which I am not going to skirt around, and that is the Igbo question, the Igbo identity, where our people stand in the scheme of things in our country, our place under the sun in Nigeria. And I dare say that history shows me clearly that Igbos have had a checkered history from the Civil War to the post-Civil War environment, from a situation where an Igbo man could not serve as chief of staff of the Nigerian army, not because there were no qualified Igbos, but because there seemed to be an unspoken arrangement that an Igbo may not occupy such a position. And the reason is because the Igbos fought to defend themselves during the Civil War. It took a Jonathan, a minority president, for that, norm to be broken. And so we had a Lieutenant General, Sunday Hejirika, who then served as Chief of Staff of the Nigerian Army. You want to fast forward to the current situation, where of almost 10 or 11 security agencies, no Southeasterner has been found worthy to occupy the headship of any of these positions. And so for me, stepping out to run as governor, stepping out on the platform of APGA, for me, it's beyond the 2023 elections. For me, it's a protest of sorts. It is an opportunity to speak up for those who cannot speak, or speak up for those who may be ignorant of the danger that confronts us as a people. There's an opportunity to say and to remind our people that we must chart our own political trajectory, the way that other groups have charted their own political trajectory. It is on the basis of such a political trajectory that we may project our voice to the rest of Nigeria. This is exactly what other regions have done. And for now, I do not see any other pragmatic path forward than for the southeast of Nigeria to build a cohesive regional political bloc in order to then project our voice into the rest of Nigeria and to really be able to sit at the table with the rest of the groups to say, this is what we want, and negotiate, and hopefully earn respect within the Nigerian Sun. So that's really what it is for me.
The way you say it sounds a lot like what Governor Soludo of Anambra State said when he came in. He's trying to build, there should be a cohesion among the southeast states. But this is not part of my question, but I'll delve into it. What of those who are from the Igbo stock, politicians who decide and say, we can't do this on our own, we have to meet a power at the center, so they leave a party like APGA that's supposed to be like, representing the Igbos, and they join the ruling party, or they join the PDP, or they join the APC. So what do you say to those people who feel we can't do this on our own? Let's join them and then change from inside, change from within.
Okay, thank you so much, Super Sam. So first of all, to every man his own. I respect that and I honor it. Divergent views, divergent opinions. That is the hallmark of democracy. But when all is said and done, you see that history has shown us that that has not quite worked. Whether you're looking at it from the time of Nnamdi Azikiwe and what happened in the Western Parliament, to the more recent sojourn of people like our dear His Excellency Peter Obi, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, to the sojourn of someone like Rochas Okorocha in Imo, and to the sojourn of Dave Omahi, a governor of Ebonyi State. We can go on and on. To the sojourn of a Ken Namani, to the sojourn of an Ogbonnia Onu. All of these people are there. So this history has not supported that strategy, right? That strategy has not in any way earned us the love and affection or consideration of other constituent parts of our nation. And so I believe that the most viable, the most pragmatic option is to do what? To come back home and do the hard work, do the heavy lifting. The APC is not what it is today because some people sat somewhere and had this wishful thinking. The APC was not dashed to some people. Some people worked for it, starting from the Alliance for Democracy, AD, to the Action Congress, to Action Congress of Nigeria, from where the Southwest then projected their voice, their power into the rest of the country. And APC was birthed. APC was born. That is what it is. If you look at what is happening in the PDP, That party belongs to a group of people. And that is why, time and time again, they're able to decide what happens. They decide when there should be zoning. They decide when the constitution should be respected. They decide who the presidential candidate should be. They decide who the chairman should be, because it dominantly belongs to a group of people. That's the truth of the matter. We can't pretend about it. So we must do the heavy lifting. We must introspect. We must come back in and try to build consensus from within us, and that way project the Igbo voice and Igbo agenda to the rest of Nigeria. So for me, like I said, my run and the governorship, the 2023 elections, is not just about Enugu. It's about the place of the Igbo under the Nigerian sun. It's about justice, it's about fairness, it's about equity. That is what it's about.
So 2023 is the start of it. That is the launching pad. But people have thought that we would have started this thing in 2019. But 2020, people feel it is the moment for a change. But it seems your own ideology is a moment for us to start talking about our identity.
You know, for me, the Igbo question has been with Nigeria for as long as our independence. That's the truth of the matter. It didn't just start now. Every generation has interpreted the challenge in the way that it deemed fit. And so in this generation, from my own perspective, I've shared my thoughts, and that's really what it is. If you think you should have started 20 years ago, or in the way, whatever that means to you, then that's fine. You're entitled to your opinion. But I also want to say to you that there's a time and a season for everything under the sun. And the level of consciousness that one has today, I must confess, has not always been there with respect to the Igbo question. And so, as our people say, so as it concerns the Igbo question, I believe that I have a responsibility to really draw attention to this. I have a responsibility to create awareness amongst my peers, my associates, and my generation, that we must pay attention to the fate of our people, our place under the Nigerian sun. With due respect to every other group in our country, what we ask is just a right to exist, a right to participate in Nigeria, that we deserve a place at the table, and that what is good for the goose is also good for the gander. That is the simple message from an Igbo perspective, from my own perspective. That is what it is. And I don't think it is too much to ask for a country in which you are a citizen.
Okay. Why are you running for governor?
Thank you. Great question. First of all, I understand clearly that public service in its truest essence is about service. It's about service to the people. You put yourself forward, and that you offer yourself to lead, to chart the course. You offer to use yourself, to devote your time, to really apply yourself to the service of the public. Regrettably, this is not the interpretation that majority members of the political class have often given to it. For a lot of people, it is an opportunity to gain influence. It's an opportunity to gain access to the public treasury. It's an opportunity to actually just feather your own nest, as if I may borrow that cliche. But I want to assure you that on the basis of my track record, my education, my experience, my exposure, my nurture, I believe that at this point in time, I'm very well prepared through the various positions that I've held, to the various experiences I've had. I'm very, very well prepared mentally, spiritually. I also believe very strongly that I have the capacity, I have the competence, I have the character to run Enugu State as governor. And I believe that the People's Democratic Party and its current leadership have not served us well. Enugu is broken. Enugu is not working. Corruption and ineptitude, Nrashi, as the local parlance here is deployed, has destroyed our city, destroyed the state. There's a persistent water crisis. The road infrastructure is in a terrible state. Unemployment is desperately high. Poverty is endemic. Food insecurity is at an all-time high. Young people, unemployment is like destroying families. Families that had labored through their entire lives to train children. And just when the children ought to start looking after these parents, the parents have to keep struggling. Pensioners are literally not even recognized, not talk about paid. Gratuity payment depends on where you're from. Some people retire and are re-employed, whilst people who had retired much earlier, who had served the state, are allowed to wallow in poverty and in penury. This is why I'm running. I'm running to restore water supply to Enugu. I'm running to build our roads again. I'm running to restore security to our city. I'm running to create jobs for our teeming young people. I'm running to restore respect to the office of the governor of Enugu State. I'm running to restore trust, public trust in governance. As governor, if I said a thing was A, my citizens, my fellow citizens, over time will come to see that indeed the governor of their state has spoken and that his word is his bond. These are all the reasons why I'm running. Our state is terribly broken. It's never been as filthy as it is today. And I could go on and on. Primary school teachers have been on strike intermittently. There's just so much that does not have to be the way they are today. These are all the reasons why I'm running. If other people think that the current situation is okay, I am saying that it is not okay. And there are many people out there who also know it's not okay, but they lack the voice, they lack the courage. They do not have what it takes to be able to step up. And so I've stepped out, I've stepped up. I'm put myself forward on behalf of all those people who do not have the voice, who do not have the courage, in order to really restore our state to a pride of place.
Well, let's talk about two things and then just wrap up the other things. People have raised this question, which they raised when P2B came out, and that word structure, that magic word, political word now that is everywhere. APGA, the party you're on, people are asking, does APGA have the structure? Does APGA have the break-in those words that will be needed?
Needed for what?
To win an election.
Very good. So, well, I think that you answered the question yourself in so many ways. You made reference to His Excellency P2B and the earlier sentiments that there was no structure. Now, I wonder if you still have such an opinion and whether you have become convinced that Labour has a structure. I don't know, and I'll be keen to hear your answer to that.
That would be if I was sitting on this side.
No, still answer me. We're having a conversation.
If I was on this side.
No, we are having a conversation.
Yes.
Super Sam. We're having a conversation.
Yes, we're having a conversation.
Yeah, so tell me now, do you still hold those sentiments? Do those sentiments still hold true? There's something that a lot of you underestimate, right? And that is the power of an idea whose time has come. I want to assure you that I believe that 2023 is unlike no other. The 2023 elections will be unlike no other elections. The heightened state of awareness, the heightened state of consciousness, the deep concerns of our citizens is unrivaled throughout our history. And so I believe that, like everyone else, or like everywhere else in the country, the people of Enugu State are tired. They're tired of the mediocrity. They're tired of the ineptitude. They're tired of the quality of life that they've been consigned to live simply because of the kind of poor leadership, because of the deceitful PDP machinery in the state. And I'm supremely confident that during the elections in 2023, that the votes of the people will show clearly that structure exists more in the mind and the heart than in offices or corrupt systems installed all over the place to perpetuate mediocrity in public service.
Let's go for a short break. When we get back, we have just a few questions. We're still here with Mr. Frank Nweke Jr., the All Progressives Grand Alliance candidate for Enugu State in the forthcoming general elections. We'll be right back. Welcome back. It's still Punchline Road to Lion Building 2023, and we've been having a discussion with a very interesting gentleman, Mr. Frank Nweke Jr., and we're talking about his candidacy and his intention to run for the governor of Enugu State come the 2023 general elections next year. And the last question I asked about was structure, whether APGA had the requisite structure to run, and you have talked about that. You've mentioned P2B, the Labour Party presidential candidate, and you are in APGA, and you've openly declared support for P2B. Now, I don't know about the APGA presidential candidate, if there's one, but doesn't it look like a conflict, or people call it anti-party activity, that you're supporting somebody from another party?
Well, thank you very much. Let me be clear. The only political experience that His Excellency P2B has had has been on the platform of the All Progressive Grand Alliance that first elected him as governor, on which he served for 8 years. And as far as I'm concerned, we're very proud of his achievements as governor on the platform of the All Progressive Grand Alliance for 8 years. And every reference that has been made to His Excellency P2B has been on the basis of the work he did, the programs he implemented as governor of Anambra State under the platform of the All Progressive Grand Alliance. And Super Sam, I believe that where we are today as a country, my interest personally is the election of a president that has the capacity, that has character, that has competence. A compassionate president, a president that will implement a very inclusive agenda in his government. A president that will see the entire country as his constituency. A president that will ensure security of lives and property across the length and breadth of our nation. A president that will ensure that our fiscal policies are prudent and that they will help to catalyze economic growth. A president that will prioritize infrastructure. A president that will help to manage our debt, our national debt. A president that would carry himself in a way that will inspire confidence in our young people. A president that will restore Nigeria to the path of progress and prosperity. That is what we need in 2023. And I believe that the options are very, very clear, even as we speak. And so, for someone like me, looking at all the candidates that I've run, when the time comes, I will cast my vote for a man who has all the qualities, all the qualities that I have listed. And if such a man is His Excellency P2B, he will get my vote. If it is someone else, such a person will get my vote. That is my position. But I repeat, we are proud of the work that His Excellency P2B did as governor of Anambra State on the platform of the All Progressive Grand Alliance. We're also very proud of the way he has carried himself as he's gone about in pursuit of his presidential aspiration. And my final word is, may God bless all our efforts.
Okay, that's your final word on that. What are you thinking about this concept of zoning? People will say that you're from Kano West and that we've had a Senate president, you've had, I think, a governor and all that. So, what's your opinion if people say Frank is still taking us back to Kano West? You have a senator, you have a Senate president. What does that mean? Do we remove this thing called zoning and just look for what people are saying now, competence? We should face zoning and leave competence behind.
Now, let me be clear. Our democracy is still in its infancy. right? An ideal democracy is one where only the most competent people should be elected to run the affairs of any nation or any state, any organization. That is ideal. But even some democracies that we now reference went through an evolutionary process. There were times when the mafia and other people in America and other parts of the world were the ones who decided who became what, right? But through their 200 odd years of independence, they have evolved to the point where today it doesn't matter where you're from. Nigeria's democracy is in its infancy. There are significant geo-ethnic sensitivities in our polity. We can't pretend about it. We can't pretend about it. Whether you're speaking from a national perspective or you're speaking from a state perspective. And so the important thing is this. There's a zoning arrangement within the state. His Excellency Chimaroke Namani was from Enugu Senatorial Zone. He concluded his governorship and he went to Enugu West Senatorial Zone. His Excellency Sullivan Chime concluded his governorship. And then it's gone on to His Excellency Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi from the Enugu North Senatorial Zone. It has now come back to the east. And that is where we are today. In 2023, let the people of Enugu State decide who their next governor will be. Whatever the outcome may be, yours sincerely would respect it and embrace the victor with humility, with equanimity, and with honesty.
Okay, so let's talk about your first 100 days in Lion Building. What are these first five things, the first five or so things you take as priority?
Okay, so thank you so much, Sam. Great question. One of the things that I'm very big on is leadership. And for me, it's about trust. And so within the first 100 days, it's going to be clear to the people of Enugu that they can trust their governor. And so if I say to you something is wide, you know it's wide. If I say I'm going to do something, anybody that I make such a promise to, such a pronouncement to, we know that if the governor has spoken, the governor will keep his word. That's number one. Number two is security. Without security, there's nothing, and that nothing can be achieved in any society. No kind of development will take place in any society in the absence of security. So security is something that will receive priority attention from my government within the first 100 days. The third thing that is a top priority is the issue of water. It is a shame that after 31 years of existence as a state, our people are still, struggling with water supply. When as far back as 1924, water flowed in the city of Enugu. And even as recent as the last 7 years, water flowed in parts of Enugu. And so the water crisis is going to be resolved under my government. And I will do everything within my powers as governor, together with my team and the experts that are going to be mobilized to ensure that water begins to flow in Enugu at the shortest possible time. Third thing, or the fourth thing that is going to receive priority attention from me is the issue of human capital development. And I'm going to tackle it from its most fundamental roots, which is the service conditions or the conditions of service of teachers, starting from the primary to the secondary school, and of course to the tertiary institutions under the ambit of the Enugu State government. Now, another thing that is going to receive top priority from me within 100 days is the technology sector. It is such a low-hanging fruit. It actually provides such significant opportunity. We have young people who are doing great stuff. We have young people who have already put Enugu on the technology map globally. But these young people, these startups, and others aspiring to be like them need the right policy environment, need the right regulatory environment in order to thrive. They also need some support, some catalytic support from government. And so this is one area that I will also focus very, very strongly on. Infrastructure is key. The road infrastructure is something that affects all of us on a daily basis. Whether you're talking about within the city or in the hinterland, the road infrastructure in Enugu is completely and totally broken down. The dichotomy between state and federal roads, so roads, Christian federal, but used by our people, is something that dichotomy would have to end, because any road that is used by our people will receive priority attention from my government. And so these are areas that will receive significant attention from me within the first 100 days. I mean, there's no sector that has been spared
the misgovernance in our state. You look at the health sector, the community health centers. You look at our schools, dilapidated, the health centers, the teachers poorly trained, the nurses poorly trained. So one will have to work very hard to ensure that any agency of government where our people go to receive service, that the people are well trained, that our people are respected when they come in, that our people go away feeling happy, that they have a government that works.
All right, that's my last question. So the campaign's about to start. We're about to see a flurry of activities, political parties going forward. So final thing, why Frank? When I go to the polls, why APGA? What do I gain as a citizen in Enugu State? Why should I have Frank at the back of my mind? Why should I have APGA at the back of my mind? Final question, 1 minute.
So thank you so much. Well, in the Enugu, it should be yours sincerely for a number of reasons. I have the capacity, I have the competence, I have the character. My track record speaks for itself. I'm also running on my own steam. I am not the stooge of godfathers or people who do not have anything good in stock for our people. I'm running on my own steam. So you can count on the fact that if you elect me, my loyalty will be to the people of Enugu and not to any particular group of people. This is my promise to you. It will be about the people. It will be about your welfare. It will be about your well-being. It will be about your children. It will be about the people completely and entirely. And APGA, and Ka, Bonkai, rather than contribute money for strangers, patronage for strangers, because we are looking to satiate them, to ingratiate ourselves to them, because of the powers they have, for all sorts of things. You can be sure that whatever we're doing is going to be with our own party, the All Progressive Grand Alliance.
Thank you very much, sir, for hosting us at your wonderful house. And I was speaking here with the APGA governorship candidate for Enugu in the forthcoming governorship, House of Assembly, National Assembly, of course, presidential election in 2023. It's still punchline, road to Lion Building 2023. And we are First News Nation. We'll be watching out for other candidates as the campaigns go forward. Don't forget, it's almost time to pick up your PVCs. Go out there and pick up a PVC. We'll be giving you updates about how things pan out. I am Sammy Ajifo. It's a pleasure having you. We'll see you again next time.